Alright, children of God, let us continue in righteousness, in the milk of God, which is the Bible, which is here for the babes and suckling. Just reborn in God and reborn into the truth of His knowledge. Let's keep reading on in Romans 8, verse 21. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption, and that's through salvation of Jesus Christ. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. The children of God have liberty already. The ones that are already part of the tree, the natural root. Because of their liberty, it's given liberty unto the Gentiles, because we became sinners, just like the rest of the people in the world. Even though we had God nigh unto us, we were born with the knowledge of God in us, even though we went against it, and that means we sinned because we didn't do things in faith with God and obedience to hearing His word and living life according to that manner, because we live according to everybody else and against our Father and blaspheming our Father and living in this fornication and lust and desire that was sent upon our flesh, because our flesh is looked upon in this world as greatness, because people of this world see our flesh as quality in their eyes. Let God be the quality of man, and let the flesh be burnt away and done away with, and what waxes old shall fade away. Let us live on, not as just grass that fadeth away, but as righteous souls unto spirits of God to live forever, and to be turned into the form of Jesus Christ and not into the form of man anymore. Because the creature itself shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. And this is how Gentiles came in, because God saw that the sins were in His own, and since His own sin, He washed all men of their sins, so that all could come in by the righteousness through His Son, through the Word of God, which is predestined from creation. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. And not only they, but ourselves also, who have the Spirit of God, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves. That means the Spirit is growing within us, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. For when we get rid of this body, we know that we are really redeemed into the richness and the glory of God, into everlasting life. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. Understand? For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. The hope that I have lived in before was bondage to death. I used to think thoughts of death because I wasn't living in faith with my Father. And when I was reborn to God's will, I live unto life. And confirmation comes by God, by His Word, and by His knowledge, and by understanding, which we call overstanding, the richness of God. And He makes you see and know that His confirmation is in you of a truth, to know that God is in you, and His Word is in you, and you're doing His righteousness, and not the righteousness of your own sinful mind, but in the righteousness of God's grace and love. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For that a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for? Because if you see it, why would you hope for it? But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it? So every child of God that is out there pretending to be a Christian and calling themselves in this Christian manner, not knowing that you're blaspheming against God, because when you call yourself a Christian and you're not in the will of God, in obedience to the faith of God, and the hope and charity of that faith, that means you're still in your own mind and your own things, going to trials and tribulations, because you're going through the experiences that you need to go through to win the love of God, which is in your heart, to be this harmonious and contrite spirit onto the world, to love everybody, to grow into your richness of your love. Be patient, because God will bring you into love. He's created you for that hope. And thank God that you can hear this, and that you can forbear this, and know that you could live on forever through the righteousness of Him. God is truth and He's mighty, and no man shall go against the wrath of God. And I'm here to let you know, if God is against you, who are you going to call on? God says, let them know that I'm the one that they should fear. If you're going against anything in this lifetime, you're going against God. God says, warn them of me. That strong meat for the soul, we'll get into that in another time. Just like there's strong meat for the flesh that God has set before us to give us wisdom and knowledge and understanding, to overstand Him, to know His word in truth and His creations in truth. Let God be wise and man be made fools. Mm-hmm.